Hey, so if you didn't know, I recently released a short film called Milk on this channel. I recorded a podcast from my co-director Jake, as well as the two stars of the film, Elijah and Elijah. I know that could be a little bit confusing, but we just wanted to kind of reflect on Milk after 3 months of it being publicly released, and just kind of go over what we learned, talk about some details that went into the production side of it, as well as talk about some Easter eggs and a few upcoming projects that we have working on. So if you enjoy content like this, be sure to let me know down in the comments, and thank you so much for watching. Enjoy the podcast. All right, welcome to... I'm gonna call it the Scuffed Podcast.
Yeah, that's fine.
This is like the most thing on the planet. Let's talk about acting. Who loves acting?
Yeah.
I like acting.
You do?
Yes.
Yeah. What have you acted in?
Well, there's this really lame project that I did. It's called Milk.
Why? You.
Whoa.
Chill.
Yeah, it was my first ever real experience of acting, and it was quite fantastic.
You enjoyed it?
Cool.
Enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah. So if anyone doesn't know, we made a short film called Milk. I'll link it down below, whatever. This is kind of going to be, the first part is just going to be more or less a retrospective on it, because this was the first publicly released project we did since summer 2020. So this was actually... Yeah, it had been a while. I think that was the first time we ever actually shot like real coverage.
Yeah.
'Cause before, when we did our films, it would just kind of be like so if it's a one person back and forth, it would be single. I would say my line, Jake would feed me the next. I would say it. He would feed me the next. I would say it.
Yeah.
And it was just kind of like weird because we didn't it just looked stupid.
Yeah.
Because we weren't actually like reacting off of anything. So just kind of getting a bunch of like different shots and different angles of the same scene was like kind of wild. Where it's just like we actually have room to play with it in post. And because I'm honestly, I'm gonna give a bunch of credit on that to Elijah and Jay for like especially with the campfire scene.
Which Elijah?
Monroe, the one that had more than like 3
I have
lines.
to address my last name
Yeah,
for this
yeah.
podcast because
Trask Monroe.
Trask
Monroe.
There we go.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
they have the
You're
same
lazy.
name.
Yeah.
But yeah, because we didn't like we would. Do we talk about Truth or Consequences?
That's fine. Yeah.
Because we kind of did coverage then. This was in 2021.
One.
Was it one?
Mm.
Fuck. It was Hugo and Lachlan basically,
Yeah.
and we kind of shot coverage, but they would only know one line at a time, so like we would have to feed it to them. But if you actually have actors who know the scene and who know like the entire like every single line they have to do, you could just like roll, mic them, have them do it, and then just have so many options to go from in post.
Yeah, it was cool because like you, Monroe, and Jay, like you guys both memorized your lines, and we never had that before. Like when people know their lines, so it made production so much faster.
I appreciate you lying because
And,
I definitely didn't memorize them.
Yeah.
You guys
Yeah.
were pissing me for that. But
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. Well, we beat you up for it, so all the
yeah,
makeup.
you-
there was no
you
makeup done
definitely-
in the.
you beat the living shit out of me.
Yeah,
for
there
that
was-
one.
yeah,
So,
That was my favorite part of the entire project.
so
was
that's
just
why
yeah.
you guys
up.
actually got him on this project. Is
Yeah.
we've been friends for a long time.
Yeah, actually,
Yeah.
we were curious about that because
And-
we've known each other for like probably more. I don't know. more
10, 11 years.
Yeah, like 11 years. So like.
and we've known each other longer actually. So
Yeah.
if it's
So
a
like.
competition, like,
Weird.
Yeah. Like so like. I was interested like because you guys have both been friends for so long, and then we're doing this project, and then it's like, hey, do you guys want to, I don't know. I just was curious about that. Like, when did you guys start being friends and like stuff like that? I guess.
I remember it very vaguely of like just kind of meeting him at our church and being like, "Your name's Elijah."
yeah.
Oh,
My
really?
name's Elijah.
Like that. What else do you
What?
need as a kid? You know.
Literally.
Yeah.
You're like,
Yeah.
Whoa.
I don't remember it very strongly, but
Yeah.
it was something like that.
Mm.
Because then we just had mutual friends, and we hung out with all of each other a lot, and then we just kind
Yeah.
of stuck as friends.
That's
So.
cool. Yeah.
Shout out to our buddy Ty, freaking weirdo.
Ah,
Oh, he was
Lovable
in
guy.
the next Sebum.
Remember
Remember that video?
yeah,
The Golden Boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Dude, if you haven't seen that film, honestly, I think it's probably better than Milk. But kidding. No, Milk
just
is-
because you run at Jake and call him a slut.
yeah, no, that
Yeah,
was
you did call me a slut.
Give that to me, you slut. Wait.
honestly.
Oh no. That different
Only
movie.
$11.
That was. I
You
think that was probably the best performance of my life.
Yeah.
Easily.
Easily.
Yeah.
So, I'm curious about this. I know this is kind of off topic. You met at church. I know, Monroe, you talk a lot about Christianity, and you're like a pretty devout Christian, right? Trask, is that same with you still?
Yeah. I'm a Christian, and I'm big on my faith, and that's the reason that I wake up in the morning, the reason I live. Like I don't know, for me it's like having that personal relationship with God is a key part of my life, and it's why I like where I kind of draw my joy and my sense of like happiness from, you know. I think it gives me a greater sense of purpose, and I definitely recommend 10 out of 10. So.
10 out of 10 go to church.
Yeah, and it's great you guys did a very Christian film called Milk. That was very
Super Christian.
very
So
PG.
Christian.
Yeah, we're getting off topic. But,
No, that's cool. I was just it was just interesting because Milk is such a dark subject matter, and it's
Yeah, honestly,
very-
that played into some of it because like my family's very Christian, and like I have a lot of those values as well. But I was excited to be on this film as well. But like for some of it, there was that nerves of like putting this out there to my community. They're not used to seeing me kind of playing this kind of role or like talking this sort of way, or like some people just see a different me, you know.
Yeah.
And I've even kind of dealt with that. Like some people get different versions of me because I feel like I can show up like in environments whoever I need to be or whoever like is socially acceptable, which is, I mean, not always the best, but it's just kind of how it ends up playing out. But like, so some people, it was kind of that nerves of like, oh, they're not used to seeing me kind of like swear this much, or like, or even in this sort of subject matter or that sort of thing. I definitely told my mom, I was like, you will not like this film. Like, I'm going to put it out on my Instagram, but you probably shouldn't watch it. She did watch it and she didn't understand it. And I was like, okay, like I told you, but I don't know. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That was the thing is I feel like if we made it now, there'd be a lot of changes.
Yeah, easily.
That was definitely a big part of it. Was a lot of people didn't understand what was happening. Like my dad didn't get it. My mom got it. It was just kind of like 50-50 on whether or not people got it. If someone asked me, like, they're like, what the hell happened? I'd just be like, just watch it again. And see if you can figure it out. And that usually works. Like if they just watch it more than once, they're like, okay, I can kind of figure out, like he's being poisoned or something. Like they don't get it exactly right, like what's happening, but they get like 80% of the way there.
But I really respect that because I feel like a lot of, especially student films and like early on, like people's film career, like they tend to like try too hard to explain the film and what's going on. And I think you guys stayed true to like really trying to show rather than tell. And that's like rule number one. I think you guys stuck to that pretty well. And I think it's kind of a learning curve, but I think from what you guys are doing, it showed some professionality and some like just love for your art to like not really care to like over explain it to the people that aren't going to get it. Yeah. But staying true to just really creating a great piece of art that does have a good meaning, that does have a like that true conflict, but not really trying to like put it all in the dialogue or the exposition.
Yeah. Because one of the things we like talked about like really significantly like going into like writing the script, because I don't know if you guys know, but this script is actually an adaptation of one of Jake's short stories that he wrote. He wrote it like 2019 or something.
No, it wasn't that long ago, but it was
a while ago.
It was like 2021, something like that.
But yeah, so we wanted to like adapt, going through the adaptation of it. One of the biggest things we wanted to do was revealing what Leo did. No, revealing what the man did, to warrant this punishment.
That'd be a much different film if it was...
Got incest. And obviously go watch the film if you haven't yet, but we kind of thought about it on this spectrum. So it was like the final like how much do we explain? It's level 0 is say nothing about it, literally 0 dialogue, and 100%, like that would be 0%. 100% would be a line where Leo
Nolan film.
Literally.
I love Christopher Nolan, favorite director, but there is a lot of exposition.
I love him. 100% would be a line where Leo says like, "You raped my sister, you fuck," like
Yeah.
that.
Wait, that's what actually happened in the movie?
Yeah, so
He had no idea what was going on while filming. He was like, "Oh, this is fun."
you were really on acid when we were shooting. But we kind of had to like, we wanted to get to that 80% mark where it's like, you don't say exactly what it is, but we give the audience enough tools to kind of realize it. And I think that was, we had to like really write Leo's final monologue. Like that was like the hardest line to write in the film.
That was totally.
And I think we pretty much got it. From everyone I talked to, they either said, "What are you laughing about?"
No, I just wanted to say, Monroe, you're fuck that, and that's become like a meme between Owen and I. Like we'll use it like daily, like fuck that. just so you know, just wanted
So if
to
we
throw
ever
that
say
out there.
"fuck that," that's what.
Yeah, and we say it in that way.
I'm very happy.
Fuck that.
You guys should
Yeah.
put that on
Yeah.
the GME page. You just
What?
like
Should.
make that a meme, like a format.
Fuck
You,
that.
like green screen him into a meme,
Yeah.
and it's like just cut in like fuck that, and I cut back.
We should.
Yeah, you should.
That is so funny.
Promote your film too in the process.
Yeah, literally.
You got it.
But yeah, no, that's something we had to like write really carefully, and we from everyone I talked to with it, they either had no idea what was going on, Chris Boybell.
Oh yeah,
he had no idea what was going
Yeah.
on, or they thought he killed the man killed Leo's sister, or the man who raped Leo's sister. Which is like pretty close enough. Obviously, the one that gives it away, if you like take that one line, it could be really anything. But if you do it in context with the fireplace scene where Leo was like,
they use the present tense when.
yeah, he was like, what would she want? I think the line was.
Right.
It kind of signaled like if you,
That's-
Like she's
Paul
not
says
dead.
that, right?
Yeah.
yeah,
You kind of
Yeah,
get
yeah.
like, oh,
or,
she's still alive.
or, like,
Yeah.
yeah,
It was like, why don't you ask her what she wants?
yeah, that,
Because I doubt she'd want this. Kinda
yeah,
imply that she's
Yeah, yeah.
You know, still alive and
yeah,
The
definitely.
actor, the actor knows the film better than the writers.
So, how long did you guys spend writing this film, or who kind of headed that up? Was it Jake or was it Owen?
I would say like 70%
Yeah.
Jake.
Owen definitely like in early on though, he basically took the short story and then we described all the scenes as like with a letter and then a number. So all of the street scenes like the kidnapping scene. So like K1, K2, K3. K1 was when Monroe and Jay are beating you. And then he's like, go grab the milk. And then K2 is when you're drinking the milk. And then K3 is, wait, did I get that wrong?
K2 is when the milk was being made.
Oh, K2 is me making the milk in that like garage scene, and then K3 that was me, by the way.
Whoa, bro!
Cameo.
Like just broke the fourth wall there.
Yeah,
for
sorry,
me.
sorry.
Like I did.
Anyways,
wow.
K3 was you drinking the milk. So we basically did that with every scene. We had like S1, S2, S3, K3, K1 through 3.
Yeah.
And then also like the childhood scenes. I don't know if you guys we had like an entire
yeah.
different thing going on in the movie that
Did you cut some of those scenes out?
Cut all
we
of
cut
them.
all of them out. Yeah.
Wow, yeah.
We filmed the whole thing. That was the first thing we filmed was or shot was the
Did you just not? What? Why? What was the process behind cutting some of those things
I
out?
think
Yeah, so I think it just made it way too complicated.
Yeah.
convoluted too.
Because obviously the shots were supposed to be. I don't think we shot enough in the present. I tried to fix it with editing. If we had maybe one more day of shooting or one more shot to kind of explain that it was the man's like fucked memory, we could have got it. But at that point, we'd already done 4 days of shooting and 1 day
Yeah.
of reshooting.
So what
Yeah.
do you mean by that? It was going to be like him kind of flashbacks during cut into the film
Yeah,
Yeah.
throughout.
yeah.
It was supposed to be like a corrupted memory. Like it was kind of real, but kind of not real. So
Okay.
there's a I don't know. It didn't come out. I think in hindsight we should have done more to keep it alive. If we were to make milk today,
Yeah.
I think we would try. We would definitely have that in mind, like to keep it in.
Was it like kind of maybe too many concepts to be playing around with? or
But
something?
yeah. It's just there's like 3 different timelines in the
Yeah.
movie. Wait, is there? Well, there's like
There's
the
3
childhood.
with the childhood.
Yeah, with the childhood, and there's like the
Oh.
campfire plus, because the campfire scene canonically it's supposed to be the night after Monroe and Jay beat you, in that like chicken
Right,
coop thing.
right.
Jay is Paul, by the way.
Yeah,
Jay is the
yeah.
actor's name for Paul.
Yeah, Jay Griffey.
Griff, dude. Honestly,
Have you
he's too
guys
famous for me? I feel.
have
like.
you guys seen the other movie that we did with him recently?
Sadly, I have.
No, I feel that.
Actually, no. It was well done. Like the cinematography of it. you know.
Yeah.
He wrote that film.
It
Yes.
it was written by him.
Okay.
I watched that too. Yes.
Yeah.
I saw it. I was just like, oh,
It was hot for sure.
they put it up. Watched it. I was just like,
I was just sad I didn't get a call.
Yeah, to be part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
You would have made a great Michelle.
yeah. Like I could have just pulled up and been like, "Yo,
Yeah.
I'm the side hoe."
You want to
but-
eat my pussy for dessert?
Whoa, okay.
Best line.
Yeah.
Best iconic
Best
line.
line in the film.
I forgot about that line.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah, there was just a lot of things that we shot all of that in one day.
Yeah.
So like we did it, we were kind of running behind because it was getting the sun was setting during the outside street scene.
Were those friends of his that like the girls? That
Yeah,
you
we,
guys
we
had
made him
acting
produce it.
with?
He produced so
Um,
those were actors from backstage that he got.
Oh, from backstage.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure.
Catherine was, I believe.
Oh, Catherine, maybe not.
So Raquel was from backstage. Diana,
Was.
Michelle, fuck.
There's so many names. I don't
Yeah.
know.
So
remember
many.
who was in the
Michelle.
film and who's
Michelle.
the real name.
The side hoe, Michelle.
Okay.
Um,
Michelle.
I believe Jay met her at a script reading at one point, or like an
Okay.
acting
Mm.
workshop.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they knew each other before, and then he cast Raquel off backstage.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I backstage is like fucking interesting.
Yeah, it's a cool resource.
it is
Yeah.
so cool.
It's like Tinder
Yeah.
for
Literally.
actors.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. My parents were like, "How'd you
Yeah.
find the actors?" I'm like, film equivalent of Tinder, basically."
Yeah, pretty
Yeah.
much.
I had not heard of that actually before.
Not that
this
we
set.
didn't know about
I mean,
Yeah, that's another thing that made this interesting. Was this was our first time casting people that we didn't know as friends?
it.
Because in all of our
Wait,
other
you don't know
films,
me?
no,
like you don't think we're friends?
Man.
no.
Okay.
Because all of our other films, it's been like Jake and Hugo, or like me and Jake,
Yeah.
Yeah.
as the actors. But this time we're like, okay, both of us have to be behind the camera. We need people who like actually want to do, like
Yeah.
want to act, basically.
And I'm a terrible actor, so we need
Yeah.
someone else who like actually knows what to do.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Elijah, did we ever tell you how you actually got the role? Like besides,
I was about to bring that up. Yeah.
Yeah.
All I remember was seeing his Instagram story where he was all bruised and bloodied, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, what happened?" I knew he wasn't actually bruised and bloody.
Yeah.
Shocker.
Yeah.
But I was like, "What's going on?" He's like, "Oh, I'm in a film with some friends of mine." I'm like,
Yeah.
"Dude, you know I want to be an actor."
It was
Kind of
pretty-
in a joking
much
way,
FOMO.
you know, like half joking, half serious. I was like, "Dude, why didn't you tell me about this?"
Yeah.
I'm like, "Try to get me in." And
FOMO got him
I-
into the film.
yeah, I didn't even realize that he was like actually, like I said, it was like half joking too. So I did not realize that he actually was like, "Yeah, okay, they have a role. I'll tell them about you." I was like, "Oh, wow, awesome, thank you."
Yeah.
So then put me in the group chat with you. You sent me the thing, and then I did that. As far as like how
Yeah.
you guys liked it, nothing after that.
Because that's the thing. We started filming before, like all the me getting beat up and everything, and I didn't even know what was going on. You guys were just like stand here, get like, and just
Yeah,
look
yeah.
all like beat up and start walking
Yeah.
and stuff. And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay.
the first
like,
thing we
what's
shot
going
was after the childhoods. The first thing we shot was the shot with you drinking the milk,
yeah.
and we did a whole day shoot just for that one
Just
shot.
for that one shot. Yeah. Just when you're in the
Yeah.
milk and putting it back down.
So it actually,
And then-
funnily, so the reason we needed an actor for it. So the first, like our original plan was, we were gonna do it like any other film. We had Elijah Trask lined up as the man, and then we needed the three antagonists. So we needed Leo, Paul, and Alex.
Mm.
We were originally gonna have a guy who goes to the gym named Aid Simp. His name's Aiden. Aiden Simpson.
yeah.
He was gonna play Leo, but I don't know what the fuck happened. He just like ghosted us basically.
Yeah.
we were just
I mean,
like,
it was a bit unfair because he's not like an actor. He's just one of
Yeah.
our friends that
Right.
we've had him like do like skits with us, like little gym things. But
Mm.
like, it's kind of like it's a serious role, and it's like
Right, yeah.
it made sense. Like I was like, you know what, that was kind of unfair. I mean, it wasn't unfair, but it was just like,
I would be surprised if it worked out.
yeah. Even if he did do it, I don't know if it would be as good as what we got with Monroe.
And you guys picked me just because I was like in that, just because I was in your gym video.
We just knew you were interested in it, and we
Okay.
thought you would be a good fit for the man. Basically,
don't-
we knew you could take a punch,
That's
Um,
what it was. You just wanted to see me like messed up
but yeah.
for sure.
I don't remember exactly how we like decided that Trask would be a good fit.
Yeah, me neither.
I don't remember the exact process.
So I
behind
wasn't a
that.
good fit, is what you're trying to say. You're just like,
Yeah,
oh,
we could have found someone better. I think. So
Bye. Finally,
in hindsight, we could have recasted you.
yeah, you,
in hindsight, you were like okay,
Yeah.
Do you think I could have done both parts? Like,
maybe.
Put a wig on,
Yeah.
played
yeah.
the man, played
Dang.
me. Yeah.
That could have worked.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Um,
could
Yeah.
have played every part in the film.
but yeah. So after we would kind of just like fuck that. See exactly right there. There it is.
No, you gotta
Oh my
you gotta
God.
like pause yourself in the edit and like just edit him.
put
and
him in,
Just
yeah.
put, yeah.
Yeah.
And so we were like, okay, because by now Hugo, who was our main actor friend, who he would always like play the lead in any short film we made, he was in South Africa at this point, and he's in
Yeah.
Canada now. And so we're like, okay, we have like literally nobody else who we know who want to act. We could like DM random people on Instagram, find people in the gym, or we could look up like online casting services or whatever. Because like obviously
Yeah.
that makes sense. And the first result that popped up was Backstage. So I'm like, okay, because you have to pay like $30 to submit a project.
Yeah.
So it's like I get one free submission. I'm like, fuck it, okay, bam. We put it out to the world. And that's how we found Jay. That's how we found Paul to act for it.
Mm.
And it's so weird because like we're like, okay, we're filming this in Sacramento, locals only. We were getting applications from like Australia and London.
Yeah.
People are always,
Yeah.
I don't know. My theory is just people like either set up bots or have like managers just like send
Spam
every
send.
single thing. It's like
Yeah.
fucking annoying.
Right.
But we ended up having, I want to say, 8 or 9 tapes come in, 8 or 9
wow.
audition videos.
Wow.
And there were 2 front runners for Leo.
Jay was one of them, I think.
He was 3 front runners actually.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Jay was one of the front runners because we really liked, because he sent us the video within like 2 days of the application.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Because obviously he would like send us a message, or he would like apply, then we'd send a message. We'd basically just be like, "Hey, here are the sample scripts," and we like made audio files that they like as readers if they didn't
Right,
have
yeah.
any. And so it was like up to 2. We ended up choosing one person, but then he just like wouldn't communicate with us pretty much,
Yeah.
and I don't know. I think it was like kind of stopped communicating because Jay was only available like 2 days out of every like 10 or something to film
Oh wow.
because he had work, and the other guy was only available like probably the same days, but they didn't line up. And Jay would always text us like 5 minutes after we sent out a text to the group chat, and the other
Right.
guy would just like leave us on red for like 2 days. So after a while, we're just like, fuck that.
Yeah. Yeah. So we
Um,
just needed someone for Leo, and it was like it's purely circumstantial that like
Right.
you got it. So
Yeah.
you better
Well,
be
hey.
thankful to this guy.
Yeah, and it was just like right after we were like, okay, whatever, we're done with this. This isn't gonna happen. If we want to actually make this, we need to find somebody.
Right.
And so we're like, okay, you are done.
God. Yeah.
And then Elijah's like, oh yeah, I have another friend, Elijah, who wants to act. We're like, fuck it, we'll send him the script, and you submitted it. And we were like, okay, yeah, this is really good. I actually think we didn't actually fire him until after you sent the tape.
Mm.
I want to say we still had it, like he had the role.
Still had him on payroll.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. He was still in our minds until
We saw the
Pretty
tape.
late.
Yeah, and we're just like, okay, this is gonna be 10,000 times easier. He looks good for the role. He's a local, so like he can get here within like half an hour or whatever it was,
Right.
maybe a little more. But like, okay, this is, even if he was like, he might have been like, even if he was better, it doesn't really matter if you're better if you won't show up.
Right.
Yeah.
So especially with like film, it's like you can kind of see like all the equipment. There's like really expensive equipment, but you often go with the thing that just makes your life easier and makes it so you can get the shot.
Right.
So it's like kind of the same thing here.
Yeah.
So, and then you got it.
And then I got it.
Yeah.
And he killed it.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really good.
Process of elimination.
And then I was like, okay, let's do another one. Want to talk about I'll Miss You?
Yes.
Do you remember that?
Sure.
That was
Ah.
good.
I loved doing that one. That was so fun.
Yeah.
That was I was really shocked. I was at work, and I just got a call. Normally, I get a spam call, so I pulled it out, about to turn it, I'm about to mute it. I'm like, it's Owen. I'm like,
Got nervous.
thankfully, I was able to walk away for a moment. So I was like, okay, hey, what's up? And you were just like, oh, hey, yeah, you free tomorrow? This, that. I'm like, so short notice. I don't know. But then I was just like, I have to make this work. Like, I have to make this work. And like, I gotta get more roles. Plus, I really enjoyed working with you guys on Milk. So I was just like, absolutely. So I'm like, yeah, I'll let you know more details. But I was so excited. And then, but I was shocked. And I remember coming back out in front. They're like, what happened? You just disappeared. I'm like, sorry, I got a career call basically. Like this is important. And they're like, oh, and I told them, and they're like,
Director calls, you got to answer, you know.
Yeah, I almost got you
Exactly.
fired.
yeah. I was like,
When Owen calls me, I hang up the phone and then
Cry.
I wait till the next day
Pretty much.
to call him back. I'm like, hey, did you need me for something? He's like, I needed you yesterday. And I was like, okay, cool.
Yeah. Yeah, so that kind of started as like I was literally bored one weekend, just got like 2 new lights in,
yeah.
like 2 new Amaran 200Xs, like bicolor, first time I ever had those. I'm like, fuck it, I'm gonna shoot something. And like Carson was in town. Jake loves Carson, by the way.
I love him. Yeah.
How do you?
How do I love him?
Yeah.
Very well. Why? What?
Okay.
He loves him.
Yeah.
What a guy. But yeah, we're like, fuck it. Let's just make a whole film in a weekend. And so I wrote it on Saturday. We shot it on Sunday. And then I was just like, whatever. It was like a simple 3-page, 2.5-page story.
yeah.
But yeah, it was a fun little project,
Yeah.
fun little cinematography practice, acting practice.
Very fun, very fun. However, I will say when I read that I ate rice with like what was it, soy sauce or whatever
don't
on
remember.
it, I was just like, there's no way I'm gonna be actually eating that, am I? I really hate soy sauce or like any sort of like hot sauce, which people are gonna be weirded out by that, but I hate that. So I was like, I'm gonna have to like eat like a really small portion, otherwise I'm gonna be like
Bro's got a sensitive palate.
very
He's-
sensitive.
It's one of those like, I
Yeah.
eat.
But yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. It was fun. I enjoyed it.
Oh yeah, it was very fun.
It wasn't like the best because I didn't have like.
I thought the the cinematography of it, the camera work was like, the lighting.
Yeah,
I liked it.
It
I
was
like,
beautiful.
dang,
I
this is
loved
really
it.
good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's kind of all I wanted to do at that point. Just like, okay, get some more shots for narrative portfolio,
It was kinda
get
fun.
another sick actor piece, just like stuff like that.
It was so nice. Loved
Yeah.
it.
And yeah, I mean, I wasn't part of that at all, but
Yeah, I think you're like out of town or out of the country even.
yeah, I don't even know where I was, but yeah, I wasn't there. But I thought it was like just watching it. I thought it was cool because like, oh, that's cool. They did it on their own. And, like, I didn't know like anything about it at all. So I was like, it came out of nowhere. I was like, oh, cool. Owen did a short with Monroe. I was like,
Oh, you didn't even get a call.
I was
about
like,
it.
a little,
Wow.
just like a little jealous, but
It's okay, dude. I get
no,
you.
yeah, it was cool.
I even got the call, but you,
Did you?
yeah.
Oh, you
I think so.
You're
Did I
jealous.
call you for the actor or for help for crew?
I can't remember.
I think I called you for crew.
because was it just one? It was just a one-man shoot. Yeah.
So
you said
yes.
you said you wanted me and Monroe there
Yes.
because you wanted Monroe to act in it.
I think so because the crew ended up being me, Carson, and my brother.
Okay, yeah.
Mm.
I think that you wanted me for crew.
Yeah, and my brother just kind of stood around because he kind of just like sat on the couch and was on his phone the whole time. Because like I would just set up light because it was like basically 2 locations, and I would just like set up a setup. I would just like run the camera. I'll need one person for boom, and then I would want him to like help move lights between shots. But he's like, "Fuck that." So
Whoa. Worst gaff ever.
Yeah, pretty much.
He's the worst boy.
He also stole our microphone. That's why I had to bring
Yeah,
another microphone because this guy like jacked your microphone.
Yeah.
this podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Thievery.
shout out to you, dude. I don't know you, but
So the other, God, I've been wanting to mention this for so long. The other project we're working on is basically a feature-length version of Milk.
whoa.
I was okay. I wanted to say that. I wanted to say that during the filming of Milk because we had this idea
So
for
it's like
a while.
a full gallon.
Yeah, it's a full gallon.
Yeah, fuck you. It's not a quart anymore. It's a whole ass gallon.
Yeah. No, I've been really wanting. I wanted to say that like to you guys, like on the
Dang,
when we
bro.
were filming the short. I was like, I just want to see their
Surprise.
reactions, so that was worth it. Just to-
Surprise.
Oh my gosh.
But like, yeah.
That's legit.
So there's a lot of. I mean, that's also going to be feature length. So we have like basically 3 features potentially that are lined up, and the longest film we've done so far is Bed Play, which was
12?
12 pages. So
Yeah.
That was longer than
Script.
Milk.
it was, yeah, it was like a.
It was
movie.
just a lot easier. Not even easier.
There weren't as many sets for that one.
It was just all dialogue too,
Yeah.
basically. It's like
Yeah.
there were no like fighting sequences or anything
Because
like that.
we went on a few locations for Milk, and it was
Right.
like, and we had to set up makeup every time. I think that's what was like
Right.
took
yeah.
the most time. Was
Yeah.
like I had to sit there for an hour every time, just like we had to paint it on. Well, and usually everybody was there, and I was like,
sitting there jerking your dick.
"Whoa,
While Sean was there in a dress eating pizza.
okay, yeah."
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot
Insert
of weird-
some clips of the behind the scenes because that
Sean
was
John.
messed up. What was like that?
I don't know what the thought process behind that was. I think he just kind of spontaneously did that.
Confirmed
Bro,
femboy.
Sean on that set like was just harassing me the whole time.
Oh my
I
gosh.
was like, bro, just stop.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Hey, credit where credit's due. That he was a pretty good sound op.
He was.
Yeah.
I mean, he held that mic really well.
Yeah, he did that one thing that he has to do really well.
Yeah.
him.
Shout out to you, Sean.
Sean
yeah.
John. Sean John 1215.
Love you. But is he 18 now?
No.
When you're 18, I love you.
Disclaimer.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was just I don't know.
Yeah.
I just wanted to mention that about Milk the Feature. But like there's a bit of apprehension there because I was just like, if I mention that, I know like you guys are gonna want like something to do, like some part of it, and we don't know exactly like how it's gonna shape up or anything, or
Right.
so I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. It's also like I think it's the thing where I don't know, like there's some psychology thing where if you're working on something, you should never tell anyone because when you tell people, you almost get like the dopamine from completing it just by
Yeah.
telling people that you did
Right.
it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's that thing where it's like, oh yeah, I don't know. And it's also the thing where it's like everyone expects it, but now if
Right.
it doesn't pan out for whatever reason, we're like, fuck, okay.
Yeah, you just kind of got people's hopes up for no reason. But
Yeah.
I think we're pretty confident that it'll happen somehow.
At some point.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
it might not be for a while.
2027.
Yeah,
And
29.
yeah, there's a lot of like we're gonna go a lot more in depth with like the story and stuff. So it's not gonna be as like vague or as ambiguous
Right.
in the same ways. Like there's gonna still be some mystery because that's kind of what makes the movie. But
Yeah.
Right.
a lot of stuff will be answered. Oh,
My-
you
Yeah.
do
I,
have something.
I do have something.
You want to
yes.
talk about that?
Sure. For a hot second.
Little promo.
Yeah. Little promo. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
I have not made basically any progress.
That's
in
fine.
that.
That's how
That's
it
fine.
goes.
But
It's the film industry.
yeah.
yeah. So this project will be about the more of the regrets of abortion. Very deep, very intense, dark theme of just like how that whole situation works out, and that I'm still writing a little bit. I have what I sent you guys is kind of what I had was mostly what I have. I don't plan to change too much from it. I just kind of have to wrap it up and maybe tweak a couple spots. But the hardest thing that I realized is finding actors, because I'm like, I posted it out onto Backstage because I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna finish writing this. I have my general time of goals as to when I want it to be filmed, and so I put it out. I was like, hey, I want it to be filmed around like this time. Anybody want to do this? And I got quite a bit of applicants. I was very happy. I was like, wow, this is really cool.
Yeah.
Then somehow, I don't know how, my account got banned.
The fuck?
I don't know what happened, but then I fixed it and I went back on there and I got some more applicants. I was like, cool. Half of them were like in LA to like New York. I'm like, people. One of them was actually, I think, from Australia. You mentioned that earlier.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, I know that.
Some guy in
Yeah.
Australia is just putting every,
Yeah.
every-
Really
just
trying.
every project.
He's like
Right.
spamming refresh.
I'll
and
fly out
clicking,
to Sacramento real quick.
Yeah.
Probably. Maybe he's got a private jet.
Dude, did I just... Never mind. But no, it was really difficult, and I realized most people were like, I could do that, I can't do that, and this and that. I'm like, oh my gosh, these people, like, I get it, but it's frustrating. And to the point where I'm still like right now, I'm like, I have like basically nothing updated, no progress made. But
How far are you on the script?
decently far. I wrote it on my phone, and that doesn't tell you how many pages it is. So I went onto my computer, and when I checked, it was like 12 pages, something like that. I was like, wow, that's really cool. I had no idea how long I was going, but I remember when I started writing it, it was actually leaving Milk the first night. Like we left. It was before our reshoots. You guys mentioned you're like, oh, it was to me and Jay actually. You mentioned you're like, if you have any short films, any ideas and stuff, just let us know. I was like, okay, yeah, because I've been wanting to do that, but I'd never written a short film. So on that ride home, I was just like, started writing it.
Yeah.
But when I got home, like I couldn't seem to progress. A week later, I hadn't done anything. I just erased everything, and I just started rewriting, and that was just so smooth. I got so much out, and the dialogue, I don't really know if it was good or not, but it felt good. It felt realistic, and I was like, okay, so far this is working out really well, and I really like how it turned out for the most part.
Yeah, I kind of got that. So with Beware of Doug, I wrote out like the first 13 pages really quickly, and then I highlighted everything and deleted it because I was like, this isn't working. And the way it was going, it was like there's a whole different like plot thing going on that like just didn't make sense. So we kind of talked about it more. Like, okay, well, what if instead of, because the original idea, I don't want to get too much into it because like, there's a lot and
Spoilers.
and there's
Spoilers,
it's like kind of a twisty sort of like there's things in there that are just
Okay.
hidden. But the original idea was that it's these two drug addicts, Doug and Gina, boyfriend girlfriend, and they go to this homeless camp, and then they meet this basically homeless camp leader who like guides them to sobriety. And that was the first idea. And they're like, okay, well, what if we make it better and make it they go to a rehab facility, and then the owner of that is the same character as who the homeless guy is or was. So just take the name, dragged it over, and that worked out. And that's what the first draft of the script is. But like Owen was saying, that's just too many locations. It's like there's like hallway, lobby. Like we might have to do different buildings for that, and we might need like having a different exterior shot for that. So we just kind of scrapped that as well. And now what we have now, don't want to get too much into it, but we have I think a much better location and storyline going. Okay. But I think it's going to probably extend the movie by quite a bit. But I don't know yet. I don't know yet. This the first few scenes that I've like I've fixed or I guess made into the current one. It feels a bit longer. Like the first two scenes I did, it's like maybe almost double the length.
Oh wow.
So I don't know if that's going to be consistent throughout, like with every scene I do, but
Did you increase the length of the first scene?
the first scene's unchanged.
Okay, yeah, because the first scene has been the exact same thing since the very first draft.
First scene.
Yeah. Okay. It is opened the same way every single time, which is kind of
and
I like that scene. I think that scene's cool.
It's a cool scene. I think it also sets the tone very well because it's supposed to be like it's a drama, but there's elements of comedy that we're trying to introduce. Because I think dramas work better when there's flecks of little tiny bits of comedy in there.
Right. Yeah. Especially longer ones. Yeah.
Yeah. Because it kind of if it's completely dark the whole time, then the audience expects a very dark ending, and this film has it's just a very nightmarish ending, and it's like the most horrible possible way it can go. Yeah. And if you're going to have a dark, people will just be like expecting that. So we're kind of, if you have comedy to subset that, and just kind of be there, it'll make it even more tragic and more devastating. Yeah, like glimmers of hope. Yeah, just throughout.
And then just rip it out.
Yeah, pretty much. Because that's actually kind of the way it goes. It's like, okay, you believe that this is going to go a certain way, and then it's not like a total plot twist when that gets subverted, but it's supposed to be like, oh shoot, like that was not how it was being set up to go.
Right.
But it feels natural. It doesn't feel like, oh, they just totally like did a 180 because they wanted to have a cool plot twist ending.
Right.
It should feel natural, but the idea is that we could just have comedy in there to make the dark parts feel even darker than they already are.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's awesome.
It's I don't know. It's very I don't know. I'm personally like not too affected by like the problems of the story, but for some reason I feel like I have a strong connection with like just writing it, and I wrote it really fast, or relatively fast, I guess, and it's the longest script I've ever written, and I guess it will be even longer with the new
That's
version.
awesome.
So that's a lot of rambling.
Yeah.
Super cool.
What is bro yapping about?
What is bro yapping about?
Yeah. Let's talk about Milk for a couple other things. I just want to talk about, is there anything that you guys wish that you guys had done differently in Milk? Because I know we have a couple things, but, and I mean, I guess is that even a question for them?
I would have actually punched him.
That would have been nice.
That would-
Practicals, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, because I think with Milk, definitely, the one regret I have is not more explicitly stating what the milk was. Because I know that a lot of people who watched it thought that was just water. Because they have to keep him alive, so they have to give him water, and they just give him in a milk jug, because fucking whatever.
My mom thought it was poison. Like, oh, they're poisoning him.
Yeah.
I'm like, kind of.
Yeah, more or less.
But not directly like that.
Yeah. That was like the one big thing I thought I wish we did differently. As well as like fleshing out the childhood scenes and maybe incorporating the childhood scenes a little bit better into the actual story. But I think a better question would be because we have a couple we did, but what is the biggest lesson that you guys both learned from shooting Milk?
I noticed one of the biggest things that I struggled with, or one of the bigger obstacles, is not practicing the lines enough. There was multiple times where I was like, shoot, and I pulled out the paper. I'm like reading everything, and I messed up lines because I messed up when reading it or something, and I didn't go back to double check it. And I'm like, read it once. All right. What was that again? And I didn't remember it. I'm just like, oh, gosh, pull it back out. I'm like, okay, practice the lines a little bit more. And I think bring a jacket next time. It was,
Yeah. Yeah.
You're telling me.
Yeah.
I had to be shirtless for all that.
And in shorts.
And
too.
I was like dying some of those days. It was so cold. I was
Yeah.
like, dang.
Yeah, I want to talk about the last day too, because I'm pretty sure I told you guys, but the last day we were shooting it was on June 9th, and the next morning at 3:30 a.m. I had to be on a plane to Mexico.
oh, wow.
And actually no, I had to wake up at 3:30 to go to my parents because we were gonna drive to the
And
airport.
that night we went late.
Yeah, that night. So we finished
Right.
wrapping the final scene
At
of the
midnight
movie.
Or at 1.
We were finished wrapping the final scene, like chronologically, the final scene at like midnight, I think.
I think it was
Maybe like
midnight.
12:15.
I think we left
And
at
then
like
you,
12:30 or 1.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and then we had to do one more scene.
Yeah.
But I was just like, okay, I forget who it was, but the kind of the assumption was that, okay, we'll pick it up and do it at some other point. But I think Elijah was like, fuck that.
Yeah.
And then,
Because it was
You were
like,
in all your makeup anyway.
I was in all my makeup. I think that's
Yeah.
what it was. It's like we'd already done like 3 shoot days and had to like do all the makeup and everything.
Right.
And so I'm gonna sound like an asshole for this one, but like we were like almost totally wrapped for the entire film. We were just like, oh, you needed one more shot, and I was in all the makeup, and I was like, I'd rather not like have to like
Do
come
it all
out
again.
and
no, yeah.
fully like make up and everything
Yeah.
for one shot. And So
Right.
we took care of it that night.
Yeah.
Because I think we were talking about it. I think this was what Jake said. He was, because we were both tired too. Like
Yeah.
everyone on the set was.
We were all
But he was like, you know what? If the fucking guy who has been shirtless out here for like 2
Yeah.
hours with no shoes on says we should do the last scene, then stop being fucking pussies and go do the last scene.
I mean, we're tired, but like you guys are like fighting each other and yelling and screaming and crying,
Yeah.
and it's like, you know, we didn't really do shit. We just stood there and kind of said, "Do it this way. Say it this way."
I mean,
do
it's
it
a lot
this
of
way."
work being behind and like actually
Yeah.
trying. You guys
Well,
like,
when you're directing, you're doing the crew, and you're directing the crew as well as the actors.
because that's the
Right.
thing. When you guys stop
Yeah.
recording, like I'm not working.
We're still-
I'm
yeah,
not really
that's true.
working anymore.
Yeah.
You
Right.
guys still are. Like I'm just like you tell me where to be, tell me what to say, and I'll do it. And there's part of that yeah, like there's a little bit more energy in that acting part of it, but I feel like there's just as much work or more being on the director or the like.
Yeah.
Side of
I mean,
things
yeah,
too.
definitely.
You know, and I
But-
think that's
Yeah.
you asked me like what I learned from that. I think it's just how much actually goes into this because
Oh, yeah.
I've been interested in the film industry and like done some of my own projects, just small scale. But I think actually being on something like this that's bigger than anything I've ever done on my own. I think it was really cool just to see how much actually goes into putting together a film like this, a short film like this. You know, like all the like establishers,
Yeah.
getting actors together, because I've never really done anything like that where it's like you get a bunch of different people together to play different roles and that sort of thing. Like I haven't done anything like that myself yet. So
Yeah.
I think it was cool. Like I learned a lot from that because I have a fascination with what's going on behind the camera as well. So I think it was fun for me just to like watch it going on as an actor and as part of the film, but just also just intrigued in everything that you guys were doing.
Yeah. I also wanted to ask, are because I think, have you been hanging out with Noah from?
Yeah.
I've seen you like together sometimes.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's kind of interesting.
Yeah, Noah and Arthur.
Yeah, Arthur like hit me up and he's like, "Dude, you should come to this like barbecue that we're having for." It's like his
The lads at the cookout.
yeah,
just like,
the
okay.
cookout, and so that's what he was just like, "Bro, you gotta come to this like thing that we're having like on the Rainbow Bridge in Folsom."
Yeah.
And so he invited me to his barbecue, his cookout for it's
You're invited to the cookout.
it's his
Bloods in the cookout.
like it's his fraternity or something.
Yeah.
Oh, right. I forgot.
His fraternity group, and I was like, all right, that sounds chill. And
Yeah.
so I pulled up to that and just
That's so funny.
grilled some steaks with him, and
Yeah.
It's funny too, because like Noah is more of like Owen's friend, and then you like I knew you before, you know, like you were my friend, and then I introduced you to Owen, and then vice versa. So it's kind of weird that you guys hung out together like
yeah,
on separate occasion. I thought that was just
we
funny.
call networking, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if you really want to go with, like the chain, it's
That's
like
cool.
you hung out with your friend's 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 friend.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because that's what it was. Like I knew Jake from school,
Mm.
and then like we'd hung out and like I worked out with you once or twice, and I was
Yeah.
like, oh, it's chill, like, but. Then you guys reached out to me to do the film, and I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, this guy, you know, like,
This fucking
Jake, you want?"
Yeah. Exactly.
weird
But-
loser.
Yeah. So that was cool, and that was kind of unexpected. But I was like, dude, yeah, we just kind of hit it off. Me and Arthur, like,
Yeah.
we're kind of vibing during the shoot. and
Yeah,
he
I
was just
noticed
like-
that. I was like, huh, it's interesting.
Yeah, so
That's cool.
it's actually like it's our 6 months anniversary. Like, so
Oh my God.
shout out
Yeah.
to you.
As
Bring
you
the
were
whole
saying,
setup.
what have you learned?
Yeah. I think the biggest thing easily was, at least technically, how to shoot in low light.
Mm.
Yeah.
Because like the FX, we use the
Oh, yeah.
FX3 for it, and the FX3 is like a beast of a low light camera.
Do you even have to learn how to shoot in low light if you're using an FX3?
Yes. Yes, I had to like. Okay, it was
It's right there.
actually it's that one.
It's actually really dark in here.
Yeah.
We don't have any lights set up.
Yeah.
It's just
No.
FX3s.
It's
And, like,
yeah, exactly.
that's how
Full frame.
you just like you don't need lights anymore if you have an
Literally.
FX3. That's like how
Um,
it works.
No, because like I actually had to save a lot of it through the color grading. Because I actually didn't know how. Because what I did is, because I still had the mentality, I still kind of do, but obviously not as much, of like shoot for what looks good, right? And then obviously when you're actually using like a camera that has 10-bit log, you shoot so that as much is as exposed as possible, and then you
Yeah.
actually make the image look good in the color grading.
Make it
Yeah.
look more
Because what you see in Milk is how it looked when we shot it, like on the day. Like it was exposed to this pretty much basically the same like level as what you see. Which is like
Yeah.
if we wanted to raise anything, you would get like a lot of grain in the shadows and stuff. So there was we like didn't really think about that too much when we did it, but like now we know like
How would you expose differently?
I would expose
Retrospect.
way up, like
yeah.
if anything, like just blast the campfire lights on them, because I think the lights at the campfire were at like 50% or something.
Okay.
I think the grading though on the campfire scene is like the strongest.
I agree, yeah, definitely.
It's like definitely the best
'Cause we actually
looking-
used
best
lights.
looking part of the film, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Actually, I like the K3 actually and K1 because there was actually a lot of natural light too. I mean that was
Yeah.
pretty good. But like all of the nighttime scenes, I would just expose for more, because I don't know if I can bring it up. I actually did this because we had to reshoot one shot, which was the shot with the blood and the car pulling up to it.
Yeah.
Because
Right.
I forget what was wrong with that, but we had to reshoot it. And we shot that at like 7:30 p.m. or 8 p.m. So it was like pretty light out, but I was able to like make it look like night with color grade and like a day to night color grade. But for all the night ones, I kind of just shot it as night for night instead of just leaving it at 12,800 ISO and widen and opening it up as much as I could because I was like, oh no, that's too bright, it doesn't look like night anymore or whatever. I didn't realize that I could save that by like crushing the shadows in post and like actually making it look good. I still kind of, if I were to do that right now, I would really be hesitant because I'd be like, oh, I don't know if I'd be able to save this. I kind of have to get more practice shooting at night so that I can like have the confidence and know that it's gonna actually look like night after I grade it in post.
Yeah, I feel like once that detail's gone, though, it's gone. So like, it's always best just to have that information there.
Yeah.
Because you can always do everything. You can pretty much make anything look like anything.
Yeah, but I think that's just what I don't have enough experience with, just like the color grading aspect. Like I don't know that I can make anything look like anything yet.
Yeah.
So I just have to shoot more and just like practice color grading, just to like know that for sure.
And Trask, I gotta say, for the milk thing, your final like kind of monologue outburst kind of thing. Like that actually really took me by surprise. Like I knew you could do it, but like
They actually didn't know I could act. They they had no
Plucked the
hope.
guy off the
no,
street.
we just kind of like, I was like, okay, this kid's not gonna be able to do it. But no, like that was like really like when you started doing that, because we actually, you weren't supposed to go when you first did it. We were filming Monroe,
Right.
And you did it while we were filming Monroe, so we were like, oh, okay, that's cool. We're just gonna keep rolling then, because he's gonna do it.
I forgot. Like I put everything into it, and then you guys were like, "That wasn't even the shot of you."
Yeah, that was
like,
Yeah.
That wasn't, but that was fine. But like that was that like kind of took me. So that took me by surprise, like literally, because it like you just did it out of nowhere. But also like that was like exactly what I imagined. Like when you say stop, it like your voice cracks and it's like it cuts through the scene, like and everything else stops and it works very well. So
Yeah, because like for that final monologue, for the final
I got
cut,
chills, like literally.
Oh, dude, I appreciate that. I had fun with that scene because like I didn't have any like other lines. Like I think it was fun, like some of the facial expressions and having to act like just. I think I also learned there just like, okay, how do I get into character and really start to like do these scenes without any dialogue?
Yeah.
You know, for some of those scenes, I just had to like sit there and you're like, look this way. And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay,
Right.
you know. But
Yeah.
I think that part was fun, just to actually like really start to get into that character
Yeah.
more towards the end.
yeah. Fuck. God, I was trying to say. Oh yeah. For the final, because I was the one who. I mean, obviously Jake had some of it, but I was like the main editor for Milk. And for like the final monologue there, we had maybe like 3 takes of it. And it was kind of weird because we shot the first take we had was the one where we were filming Monroe. So like we didn't actually have any footage of you, and so I kind of had to almost cobble together the monologue in post-production, like in the editing, because I think the first take was easily the strongest you did.
Yeah.
But the second was like pretty good, but obviously a little weaker, and then the third one was like not terrible, but it's like ideally not.
It absolutely sucked.
Thanks, bro.
We didn't
I
even use-
do-
No,
we
I
didn't even
agree.
use
Like the
third take.
first one was really good, and then I feel like I was trying to get back to that, and
Mhm.
like
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it would have been better to just start from a clean slate, but like I think it was like you guys were like that was so good, and I was like
Yeah.
I gotta repeat
Yeah.
that now. Like,
Yeah. I mean, I think for something like that, it's just like you have one really strong take, which like the first one, like when you're like in the character, like in the moment and stuff, and then it's like
Then
that
I
was
was-
amazing. Can you repeat that? Wait,
Then I was
what?
overthinking it
Yeah.
after that. I was
Yeah.
like trying to like get myself to get back to that, but
Yeah.
like, yeah.
But it worked. I mean,
Yeah, it definitely worked.
Yeah, I mean, also like it's a really powerful scene in general, just because like from what we see Leo as like this overarching like really like violent person, who like will stop at nothing to like kind of hurt you.
Yeah.
And for the first time, he like stopped, like you interrupt him like while he's talking.
Yeah.
You say stop, and he actually stops, and that's how powerful it was. You got someone like Leo to, which
Yeah.
I think is it's just a cool scene.
Because I think that's like, okay, when you guys first approached me on this film, you were like, kind of told me a little bit about it, but I was like, what the heck am I going to be doing? And like, I did not even know. You got me to say yes before I realized like what I was actually getting myself into. And when I showed up first day on set, I was like, oh man, like there's a lot more
going on.
There's a lot more to this character.
That was kind of on purpose because I was like, if I explain it too much, you might not.
I probably would have chickened out. Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, like.
So it was a bit of lying and deceit.
So yeah. You lured me.
That's how you get actors.
Yeah.
But what are
like? Oh yeah, it's not that big of a deal. It'll take like one day.
Yeah.
we said it was like 2 days of shooting, right?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. That was it. Like you guys were like, yeah, it's only gonna be like a couple of days, and then like I have
like no dialogue.
And then I like how many times did we show up and I had to like it was hours of makeup and I didn't realize like what is going into this.
Yeah. A little bit of deceit and fraud.
Yeah, I thought it was just gonna be like this like quick like almost one and done, you know, and it was a lot more than that. But what I kind of meant by that was, I think as you started to explain the character to me, like how you described it to me, you like you wanted this very dynamic, kind of this very dynamic story of like, yes, I'm the villain kind of, or like,
right.
But and you were trying to paint like his character Leo is very like almost justified in what he's doing, but you're also trying to say like, is he going too far? Is he is he taking it too far then in his vengeance and his like and all that? And so I kind of took that and I was like, okay, how do I start to get people kind of in some way on my side? I mean, I don't think my character is a good person. I don't think what I did was awesome, but I was like, how do I kind of paint that picture that you guys communicated to me, like the vision of, we want it to almost feel like Leo's going too far, and or you start to question that by the end, like is what he's doing actually justified for the actions that were taken? And so I was like, I gotta put my like blood, sweat, and tears into how do I get people to start to feel what I'm feeling, even as a horrible character, like horrible person.
Yeah. I think that's also kind of the reason why we wanted to also like adapt this and make this a feature, because I think the questions that we're asking and like the depth that these characters go to, it's just like not like overly ambitious, but like I don't think a short can do it justice.
Yeah, it's a really complex complex set of characters that are like shown in like a less than 8-minute movie.
Yeah,
so.
Right. Like, I don't even think like all the complexity of it that we imagined it came across. Just like it couldn't.
See, here's kind of a question for you guys. How, like in this feature-length film, in your idea of it now, would you develop these characters differently, or like earlier after? Like would you add stuff afterward, or just kind of general?
Developing it differently, no. In the sense of like we would, I'm not going to speak for Jake, but like my idea of it is like they would be developed the same, but they would be given more development of the same thing, because of 8 minutes we didn't have the time to actually develop characters, and I think that's one of the pitfalls that a lot of short films come into, is like a lot of short. I mean, I think this isn't as much as like a lot of the other ones I've seen, but a lot of the short films that I've seen are trying to be features but a short length, as opposed to like an actual literal short film. And I think for the feature, at least my idea, it may be completely different if when it ends up happening, but it would just take the exact same characters, the same development that we have in our heads, and just expand it to like an hour and a half.
Throw it into ChatGPT, say like make it longer,
and
like make it an hour.
Just play Milk back to back for like 16 times, so it's like an hour and 30 minutes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But I think it's like the same character traits, same backstory, same everything, but all of it will come through in the feature instead of only some of it coming through in the short.
At least for like major developmental changes, I think the character that'll have like the most difference would be the man. We've named him Scott so far. Like he's going to be named for this. We kind of wanted to give him more humanity.
Actually get a name now?
Dude.
Yeah.
Okay.
Congratulations. You've ascended to personhood.
We wanted to, well, we're not going to cast you as, but we wanted to have, we wanted like more humanity for the character, because I think a really cool contrast is you're like not even like you're barely human in Milk. Like you're like almost like an animal. Like you're grunting. You're like and you're like your face is all like bruised and it's like your hair's all like.
You don't hear me say a word until like the last
Yeah.
minute or two
And
of the movie.
that is a really cool contrast to like a regular everyday person. So like we kind of wanted that to be a big thing too. Is like how far Leo's torture and like everything has gotten to him, and changes him from basically being a human to like practically a beast. You know,
Wow.
I think that's a cool part of the story as well. But the main conflict for the feature would be the conflict between, at least as far as it goes right now, it might change, might be different, but we want to really explore Leo and Paul having their differences on basically like the camp. Like there'll be a campfire scene, but we'll kind of I guess expand upon that, like why Paul's against it.
Against campfires.
Against campfires, yeah.
Campfires.
Paul against campfires.
Don't you know what state we're in? This is causing massive forest fire.
Dude, that's another whole film you could just like make right there.
I know, just over
Smokey the Bear.
over nothing. But yeah, we wanted to. The man Scott would be kind of more of a lesser focus. Like he'll be the main thing that drives all of the stuff in the film. But I think Paul and Leo's conflict is more compelling.
Would you show a little bit more of like our prior relationship to
Yeah,
that happening?
Not too much. Like maybe there's like an idea for like a scene earlier that I don't want to say too much, but there's like a kind of like there's like a maybe like a day before.
Because we were like
sort of
we were
thing.
friends before this.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that'll be shown, but like not
Okay.
not too in focus or anything like that.
Yeah. Also, I think a big change that it's going to be, at least what we have now, and we can talk about this for a minute too, is I think where we think the feature is going to be linear, because obviously the short it was completely non-linear, because we wanted to just give a little jerk off to Nolan there, the king.
The king, bro.
But yeah, I think it works. I think non-linearness works better for the short, and like I mean, at least in my idea, I'm not gonna like.
Because there was a lot more going on in 8 minutes, I think you're probably right.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. A lot of it is like I could be like, oh, it could represent the deep feelings of the man as his brain is fucked, so he doesn't really know anything. I just thought it's cool, honestly.
That I think that right there is
Yeah.
super important, just from like a film perspective and from an artist perspective. It's like we can always try to figure out like what's the most like most meaningful or most like the best way to do it. You know, like the
Yeah.
most I don't know fitting way. But at the end of the day, it's like you're the director. You're the director. Like, do you like it?
Yeah,
Right.
I don't know. I just like I think match cuts are cool.
Yeah.
Match cutting to a previous scene, and also it was something we did play around with is like the grades are completely different. So like the grade for the chicken coop scene, so when he's beating you and when you're drinking the milk, that's like significantly bluer.
Yeah.
Compared to the final scene, the street scene, which is all like a neutral palette. Yeah, so I don't know.
Why was it so blue?
That was
Creative
because
choice?
that was a
Yeah.
creative choice. Yeah, I did like mess up on a little bit of the color grade because it was like weird, but
There's basically like a shot of Monroe and then a shot of Jay, and Jay is like blue, and then there's a shot of Monroe and there's a shot of Jay again, and Jay's
like
now
purple.
kind of like purplish greenish kind of.
yeah,
That's like the only thing that like in that film though. Like there's everything else. Like
Pretty
you probably won't
consistent.
even notice it if you just watched it for the first time.
I definitely didn't notice it.
But
Yeah.
if you watch it
Didn't
now,
notice.
if during that scene, just pay attention to the background on Jay's scene. You'll be like, that looks a bit different than it did. a
I'm
second
gonna
ago.
go pixel peep it now.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah. I don't know. I think blue because obviously blue is like a cooler. If you look into like you can read into color theory if you want. Like blue's typically seen as more hostile and. Orange is seen as more like warm, loving, because that's actually something we did really. Because when we graded the childhood scenes, which were originally in there, those were
Super warm.
super warm, like a dream, like a fucked memory. And we wanted to contrast it with the chicken coop, like in like literal, like the guys in literal hell, and so it's just like a super warm, dreamy, like really soft scene, and then immediately cut to like a really cool blue scene.
Yeah,
Is
because
that
both are memories.
Is that another thing you'd probably keep a little bit more of in the feature? Is like childhood scenes, or you still cut those?
I think we're axing them.
I don't think they'll make it in.
Yeah, the current plan's to axe them, just because it's not super necessary to where it's not super necessary when we have like an hour and a half to flesh out characters.
It was because the childhood scenes was because we realized that we don't have a lot of time to represent like to show that your character is like just like everyone else.
Okay.
So having a childhood scene would be like, okay, this person's also human. This is what they looked like. Like this is what they were doing before.
Yeah.
They're like this. In a feature length film, like we're gonna have a lot of like there'll be you'll see him before. He is
Beastified.
Yeah.
let's say. Yes.
And so were those scenes added a little bit after the fact once we started filming? Those like childhood scenes, did you?
We filmed. Those are the first things we filmed.
Okay.
So that was in the scripts too. And
Okay.
I think Monroe asked me about that. Like, what is this?
Yeah, what's this
Yeah,
going
I remember
on?
seeing it some of the early like test edits that you guys sent us,
Yeah.
like, or different stuff. And you sent me pictures or whatever, like from you guys filming.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this is cool. These are interesting. And
Yeah.
giving me a little more context of what you guys were doing. But then you completely axed it, and I was like, oh, where'd those go?
Yeah. We can also show you because we still have like an edit
Yeah.
of it on YouTube. If you just wanted to see those
Get the
clips.
director's cut.
Yeah.
The actor's cut.
The director's cut. Cinematic 4K 60 FPS remastered.
God. Yeah. Also, last thing about Milk. The second biggest thing I learned probably was like sound design and how important it is.
Yeah.
Because if you look at the time, because that was the first time I actually edited something on like Resolve, like an actual project.
He's a big boy now.
I love Resolve, dude.
Resolve.
It's so nice.
He switched.
I did the old switcheroo.
Yeah.
But like there are like 7 or 8 layers of audio only,
Yeah.
which is just like kind of insane. About like how
I hear
you.
CapCut's kind of up and coming.
Thank you for listening. If you did,
All the cameras are dead.
Yeah. Just mine was
it's built different.
Yeah. Mine's built different.
You'll
Right.
just replace the battery.
It's true.
Yeah, I should.
It's like
Real quick, I don't know if you guys care. We'll link their Instagrams below if you want to check theirs out.
Definitely
Oh,
check me
hi.
out,
Check out Fat Unicorn Media.
especially if you're.
actor's one.
Yeah. The acting one.
Yeah.
The
Elijah the actor.
Elijah Monroe official.
Yes.
Elijah Monroe official. Yeah, we'll link those down. Thank you for tuned in, and yeah, like and subscribe.
And for less.
Follow, like and follow for less.
Exactly. Okay.